Hey, what's going on? This is Dr. Boyce Watkins. You can call this Dr. Boyce Radio. This is where you may not see my face, but you can hear my perspective. I'll keep this really, really quick. It turns out that Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. Now, if you don't know much about Jeffrey Epstein, he's the guy that he's a billionaire, or he was a billionaire, close to it, and he was taken down on some charges involving a lot of underage girls. So, in a lot of ways, he was kind of the white male R. Kelly. And what made this case really interesting was a couple of things. One was that he's linked to a lot of really powerful people, including Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, who's a Harvard law professor, a very famous guy, and a bunch of other people, prime ministers, governors, judges, and, professors and everything else. Now, the thing that's interesting as well is that there are a lot of people who wondered if he had links to either the CIA or Mossad in Israel, mainly because there were times where weird things would happen. Like he owned a jet that had a number on the tail of the jet that was linked to the government or something, and there were some other weird things that kind of happened that made people think that maybe there was something more to it than meets the eye. And I don't doubt that. I think that obviously the first time he went on trial, there was clearly a reason why they wanted to push him out of there and make sure he got away with it, with his crimes. And it could have either been because he had a lot of money and he's very powerful, or it could be because he was doing some dirty work for the government or something like that. I think that his death is an interesting thing in the sense that I'm curious to see if they're just going to write it off as maybe a suicide or something like that, or if they're going to figure out, if somebody killed him. Mossad and the CIA and all those other people, they're really, really good at killing people and making it look like a suicide. And I also wonder if they're going to do the follow up. Are you going to follow up on, on the charges against all the other people, the accusations against the other people that were allegedly rolling with Epstein back in the day, including Donald Trump, right? Who actually famously said that Jeff is a fun guy, and that Jeff and I both like young women. That he likes beautiful women on the younger side, and so do I. Or he said something like that. So the point of the matter is that there are a lot of people linked to Epstein, and I think that there are a lot of people who are probably breathing a sigh of relief now that he's gone. But I'd be curious to see if they followed up on it. I doubt that they will. And what's also fascinating is, this case and many others, I think, kind of does show the difference between kind of how the R. Kelly and Bill Cosby situations were covered versus this one. I think that when you talk about black males being accused of sex crimes, the burden of proof is a lot lower. There's not much due process. There's not much of evidence required. Even right now, Mateen Cleaves, who played for the Michigan State Spartans. He's on trial for a sexual assault. And the thing about these assaults that's problematic is that, if you agree that assaults are wrong, sexual assaults are wrong, that I agree with you. I mean, everybody agrees with that, or most normal people agree with that. I think that what people have an issue with is that black men are being sent to prison with no evidence. Bill Cosby, there's still no evidence that he did what he allegedly did that got him sent to prison this time. Andrea Constand had no proof at all. No toxicology tests to show that she was even drugged. So I think that this is an interesting thing. I think that this whole environment is something that does affect black men, because you do have the guys like the Epsteins who, systematically traffic young girls, which we agree is wrong. Even when the young girls, want to be involved in this kind of thing. I think that we can agree it's up to the adults to kind of say, like, no, I'm not. You might be 16, you might think you know what you want, but this is not something that we're going to allow you to do. But I think at the same time, what's really interesting though is that you get this environment where accusations are being thrown everywhere. And all you have to do is accuse somebody of something. So it's a lot like McCarthyism, which was a time, an era in the past when everybody was accused of being a communist, or the Salem witch trials, where if you wanted your neighbor dead, all you had to do was accuse them of being a witch, and they would come and lock the person up or kill them. So I think that for the black man, I think you're dealing with that kind of era. You won't get the Jeffrey Epstein treatment. I think that if Jeffrey Epstein were a black man, he probably would have been in prison in about 2008. And if he were a broke black man, he'd been in prison. He probably would have, been shot and killed by the time he was 14 or something. So anyway, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm out of here. I'm still in Los Angeles in case you guys want to come to the investment seminar tomorrow. I also speak today in Leimert Park for the Harvest Festival celebration. So I'll be doing some stuff in LA. So feel free to go to drboycelosangeles.com. That's drboycelosangeles.com. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.